Oh, hello there, Animal Crossing friends. I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton, and you've just caught me diving for valuable trash in the river that runs through Swindon. I've not found much yet, apart from broken glass and a whole load of used condoms, but I'm not giving up yet, because you never know if the next priceless prize piece for my trash pile will be just one plunge away. Anyway, trashy treasure isn't all I've been searching for this week, because I've also been trying to track down the 10 most terrible villagers in Animal Crossing. Twice a month, visitors to animalcrossingportal.com vote for their most favourite villagers in New Horizons, and every 2 weeks, the results for these polls are posted in a popularity list. The villagers that make it to the top of the list are super sought after, and they can command some big bucks on the AC black market. But what about the ones who sink to the bottom? Well, these drown outs are the subject of this video. So, do you have an Animal Crossing abomination ambling around your abode? Is there a vile villager that you need to vanquish in order to make your island venerated? Let's find out as I explore the top 10 least popular villagers in Animal Crossing New Horizons for the month of September, starting this week with number 10. The last time Mael was seen on this least popular villagers list was in June, when she placed right down at number 2. And to be honest with you, I think it's quackers that Mael is back in the AC Badbeaks. I mean, just look at her beautiful Parisian streets-inspired custom home that comes complete with candy floss maker, coffee machine, phone booth, dainty iron furniture, and pretty tree-lined wallpaper. It's also bright and breezy, and the open-air vibe is a refreshing change compared to the standard custom homes that some of the more popular villagers have. And I mean, look at that awesome pink record player in the corner there. I wonder where she got that from. Mael order, perhaps? So, what is it about Mael that makes people duck for cover when they see her waddling their way? Well, it could be her snooty personality type, which means she can appear snobby and arrogant when you talk to her, but this brash attitude will often soften if you speak to her enough. The only real turn-off I can think of then is her physical appearance, which does look a little bit odd, what with her bright red helmet of hair and her glaringly green eyelids. But I still think she's kinda cute in her own way. Maybe I'm wrong about Mael, and I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments if I am, but I think her return to this list is foul. After receiving what must have been a paltry amount of votes, we've got a newcomer in at number 9. So say hello to Becky, the snooty chicken. Now, I'm not entirely sure why so few of you are flocking to Becky, considering the magnificent interior of her custom home here. I mean, just take a peek at all that posh furniture. It looks like the perfect place to put your feet up and have a well-deserved nest. So if it's not Becky's house that's causing you to peck other villagers over her, maybe she's missed a chick with how she presents herself. If, like me, you've been checking out her outfit, you'll notice that her violet feathers complement the purple noble shirt that she's wearing perfectly, and because she looks so well-to-do, you'd think she'd earn a little more respect. Could it be Becky's air of superiority that's causing Animal Crossing fans to be aggravated by her existence? Or maybe it's her purple colouring that's flightening off her fans? Whatever the reason, this month the majority of players would like Becky to kindly clock off. So I've just got off the horn with the folks at animalcrossingportal.com, and they've told me that the next entry in this show of woe is Ronda the rhinoceros. But why is this white rhino so very low down in the charts, you may be wondering? Well, Ronda does like to charge a lot of makeup to her credit card, and this heavy use of bright purple eyeshadow and pink blusher for her cheeks might have caused people to mistake her for a snooty villager, instead of the kind-hearted normal type that she actually is. If it's not the makeup that's causing the mix-up though, maybe it's her overall colour scheme that's encouraging players to look down their wry nose at her, because everything about Ronda's custom home is coloured to match her purple hair and purple eyeshadow. If you do find yourself marooned in Ronda's house, you'll notice she has the simple purple flooring, purple desert tile wallpaper, and even fancy purple shell-themed furniture like the pearl shell bed and shell archway which sit against the back of her room. Sure, Ronda may love the colour purple, but judging by her placement this month, it looks like most of you would want to move out if you were forced to live with her. There's absolutely nothing sweet about being the 7th least popular villager in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so let's try to work out what's turned Candy the Mouse here from a can-do to a can-don't. Like the majority of the least popular villagers in the game, Candy has a very bizarre colour scheme, and her bright pink fur and deep blue ears clash really badly, making her look less like a mouse and more like a mess. It's her face that's likely to turn most people's stomachs though, because Candy has these bizarre puffy cheeks that are so swollen they even cover the bottom of her eyes. The bright red colouring to these bulging bumps makes it look like Candy has been stung on the face by a bunch of bees, and even though she smiles when she talks to you, it kinda looks like she's trying to hide the fact that she's in terrible, terrible pain. Listen, I'm sure there are some of you out there who think Candy is swell, but the fact remains, most of you want to wrap her up and throw her in the bin. It must have been utter pandemonium in Chow's house when he found out that AC players had decided he was expandable. Considering Chow has appeared in every single Animal Crossing game ever made, you'd think he'd have amassed a few more fans, so he must have felt pretty bamboozled when he realised he was the 6th least popular villager in the game. Chow's custom house is full to the brim with bamboo-inspired walls, flooring and furniture, and considering bamboo is what pandas like to eat, it must be clawfully hard for Chow not to eat himself out of house and home. The thing is though, it's for sure a really nice house, so I think the real reason behind no one chowsing Chow has to be down to his weird pink fur. I mean, it looks like he's suffering from terrible sunburn or something, and while I'm sure some people out there love him like a cub, it seems like most of you are embarrassed to be around him. The poor thing. The next entry on this least popular list is a primate example of how not everyone loves a bad Boyd. With a cranky personality type, Boyd the gorilla was always going to struggle when it came to making friends, but I think his furrowed brow is the thing that really turns people off here, because it makes him appear constantly angry. Well, it's either that or the fact that he likes to wander around town with his butt hanging out. Crikey, put it away, Boyd, this is a family show. Sort of. Although I never got to visit it on my travels, Boyd's custom house looks pretty cool, and it perfectly matches his gruff exterior as it's set out like a building site. It's full of cold, hard items of furniture like old barrels, iron girders, and a wheelbarrow full of dirt, and that's hardly a recipe for the cutest of places to live now, is it? Boyd is another returning character to this list of mistakes, and back in June he was crowned the world's least popular Animal Crossing villager. At 5th position this month, Boyd is no longer the worst of the worst, but it's safe to say that this placement is still chimp pants. See? I've got no idea what people's beef is with Tbone, so perhaps his placement on this list is a mistake. Nevertheless, this blue buffalo is this month's 4th most unpopular villager. Tbone's name obviously comes from the T-bone steak, which, if you didn't already know, is a cut of sirloin beef that includes a T-shaped bone in it. Naming yourself after the tastiest part of your body is a bit weird, to be fair, and it'd be a bit like a chicken calling itself breast, so maybe it's that that's putting people off. I mean, would any self-respecting vegetarian Animal Crossing fan out there even consider voting for a villager whose name is based on the meatiest of meaty treats? I honestly don't think so. In other, less tasty news, Tbone celebrates his birthday on May the 20th, which makes him, quite obviously, a Taurus. Between that birth date and his name, it's safe to say that the people who created Tbone were really milking those cow references dry. So, what does Tbone here think about being one of the least popular villagers in the game? Well, I asked him that question when he visited Swindon's campsite, and it turns out he doesn't have a cow, man. Say hello to Violet, the snooty gorilla who, at number 3 on this list, is making her first appearance in the least popular charts at an incredibly low rank, Utang. Thanks to this dire placement, we already know that Violet is not very popular with you lot, but I wonder how she feels about it all. I might have to gorilla to find out. If it's not Violet's snooty personality which is causing folks to declare guerrilla warfare on her, it has to be her weird violet fur and her Nana-esque pearl jewellery, which covers her body from head to toe. Honestly, I have no idea why she needs to wear pearls on all 4 limbs and on her head. Perhaps she got a good deal on a bulk order from Amazon Primate or something. Just like Ronda's house, Violet's custom home is decorated in various shades of purple and violet, adding strength to the theory that purple is the least popular shade of colour in Animal Crossing. Could Violet increase her popularity by getting the decorators to remove all the ape coloured items from her home, or is this idea as bananas as it sounds? Who knows? But what I do know is that this Violet creature also walks around the place with her bum hanging out, and that, my friends, is going to make anyone's popularity levels go ba-boom. Poor old Harry the Hippo is a regular on this list of the low, having appeared in every least popular villager video I've produced, and this month is his lowest placement ever, which is a real number 2. I guess it's down to the fact that he has a face like an armpit. I mean, what else could cause him to chart so dangerously close to the hippopotamus of this list for another month running? As a grumpy personality type, Harry is as unattractive on the inside as he is on the outside, and this less than perfect presentation is probably why most players want to avoid him. Real-life hippos generally have very little hair on their bodies, so perhaps this disconnect from reality is why Harry is so hard to look at. His features are just kind of unnatural. It's not just his unkempt beard that's full of foolish follicles, though. His eyebrows are also unnecessarily bushy, and this all comes together with his sickly greenish-yellow colouring to create a rather unsettling image overall. As you can see here, Harry's default outfit is a camo tee, but unfortunately for him, there's no blending in with a vomit-inducing visage like that. He's hoping he can clean himself up a bit when he's finally unpacked his custom bathhouse-inspired home here, because, unless he has a shower and a shave any time soon, I fear the only way Harry will ever earn any fans at all is by hypnotising them. And finally, the least popular villager in Animal Crossing New Horizons for September 2020 is Hippo. Listen, I try not to get political with these Animal Crossing videos, but I'm honestly not that surprised that people have been hippopotamissing out on voting for Hippo because he's the most Tory-looking villager I've ever seen. Everything about Hippo's look screams smug slimeball, from his sickly neon yellow colouring, lank greasy hair and his love of upscale fashion like that beige blazer that he's wearing, right through to the way he spells Hippo with an EUX. I mean, come on, it should have been an EU if you ask me. He even tries to convey an air of superiority by occasionally inserting some French phrases into his sentences to make him sound a bit more cultured, but in the end it just makes him sound as smarmy as he looks. The worst thing of all about Hippo, though, is that you can't trust him as far as you can throw him. When I first spoke to him, he showered me with compliments, and I started to think that he was secretly quite nice. But it's all an act, my friends. He's not really posh and upper class at all, and in fact, you could quite easily call him an imposter, because according to Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Hippo's real name is Gary. Yes, that's right. Gary, spelled Gary, like the normal way. There's no E's or U's or X's in there anywhere. So if he's lying about something as simple as his name, he's probably lying about everything else as well. Thankfully, most of you lot out there haven't been fooled by his lies, and that leaves this untrustworthy toff wallowing as this month's least popular villager in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Oh, hey there, don't mind me. I'm just drying myself off in my punishment room after my little swim earlier. Sadly, I didn't find anything super valuable while I was diving, but I did pull out a couple of old shopping trolleys and a tricycle, which I can probably do up and flog to the Nooklings for a few bells a pop. Anyway, those were the current 10 least popular villages in Animal Crossing New Horizons for the month of September, according to animalcrossingportal.com. But do you agree? Perhaps one of your most respected villagers is now one of the most reviled in the game. Let us know which entries you think are errors and which villagers deserve to be vilified in the comments below. And while you're doing that, please do give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to Eurogamer for more Animal Crossing videos and much, much more coming soon. Oh, and if you're in the mood for more trashy puns and more awesome animals, you can find more of my New Horizons list features on screen to click on right now. Goodbye and good luck avoiding abysmal animals, my friends. I wonder if swimming here is a good idea. I've never tried to look for loot down there, but the fact that I can see toxic waste leaking from all these barrels right into the water is probably not a good sign. Although I might have just